Good afternoon. Ken Jolliffe from BIS Commodities in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Reviewing the grain trade for the week of July 27th. Coming to you on a Thursday afternoon rather than wrapping it up on Friday, because I thought it'd be important to kind of review where we have been here for the month of July with one trading day left. It's been a month of an extreme commodity trade in our grains. When looking at the December contract of corn, we had a high posted back in mid-month of 454 1/4. We posted a low today of 375 3/4. So we've seen a 78-cent trading range in corn. Soybeans, we posted a high of 1045 on the November contract at mid-month. Posted a low of 931 3/4. So there's a $1.13 1/4 range. And wheat also played into this as we posted a high, looking at the December contract again at 623 3/4, a low today of 501 1/2, so a $1.22 1/4 move, for the wheat market. We all know, why we got this rally this month because of the weather. It came from a start when we had the managed funds primarily short the wheat market and the corn market, coming off the June 30th stocks and acreage report, combined with the extreme wetness that we saw in the eastern corn belt. We saw a record turnaround of length by these managed funds, going from the short positions to a long position that was pretty close to a record long, going back and looking at where they were back in the drought year of 2012. It's been pretty much a tale of two different stories here, with the growing conditions across the Midwest, pretty much the east versus the west. East of the Mississippi, primarily parts of Illinois, heavily more into Indiana and Ohio with the wetness, the amount of acres that have been damaged because of standing water. And then you come over to the western part of the Corn Belt, west of the Mississippi, looking at the states of Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, the Dakotas, that could possibly be looking at a record production this year if we can bring this thing home here over the next few weeks. Rainfall has been plentiful here this week to give us a good supply of moisture for the corn in particular going into the month of August, and it looks like the temperatures here in the 6 to 10 day look to kind of hold in the mid-80s with plenty of sunshine. So the other extremes that we've had this month is also the corn basis in particular. As we started this month out, we saw the local processor here in Cedar Rapids bidding anywhere from 10, 15, 16 over the nearby option, and then we got the hard push of the futures market higher. We saw the transition from the ownership coming out of the farmers' hands into the funds' hands basically, and the basis in locally dropped from those high levels down to a level of about 29 to 30 under the nearby option. Now with the break in the futures market again here in the last 10 days, we've seen the corn basis come roaring back to where the local guy here in town has posted bids at roughly 12 to 13 over the nearby option. So and you see a 30, 35, 40 cent swing in basis is one that many of us have never seen before, that type of extreme. So it's just been quite interesting to see how we work through this as far as the hedging and cash grain movement during this month. So the other thing to kind of discuss here a little bit as we move forward is the demand side of things. We seem to have settled a little bit on the supplies. There's going to be a lot of guesses next week, and as we move into August is what the national yield could look like for corn and beans. I think we'll see probably a very wide range there as we get ourselves ready for the August crop report. But the demand side of things has been something that's been really poor when looking at sales, and we're going to be talking here about new crop sales, so it's the marketing year of 2015, 2016, or the crop that's still in the field here. Using today's numbers, corn sales for the year are at 169 million bushels. And a year ago at this time, we had 275 million bushels sold for the marketing year. Beans are even off to a worse start. We're sitting at 293 million bushels right now compared to 588 million a year ago at this time. A couple things that have caused this slowness in our demand picture for right now is the supplies that are available, particularly coming out of Brazil for corn, Argentina for soybeans, and the Black Sea region for wheat. That, along with the issues with the currencies, the continued strength in the U.S. dollar versus these other countries' currencies, has caused the fobbing numbers out of their locations to be quite a bit cheaper than the fob numbers out of particularly the U.S. Gulf. Now with the break in the futures, we have seen business slowly pick back up. We've seen some daily announcements this week on corn, beans, and sorghum. But with the hole we've dug, we're going to have to continue to see some good sales as we move forward. The other thing that has kind of been the main culprit in the demand picture, particularly for the soybean side of things, is the slowdown in the economic situation in China. We've seen their stock market drop roughly 8.5% here this week. Not only are they able to source beans out of South America, but with their slowdown, they're struggling to get lines of credit, to buy soybeans right now. So they have done some business with us here lately since we've dropped back. Particularly that business is probably coming off the Pacific Northwest origins at this particular time for new crops. So some things to look forward to as we move into the new month there next week. Is watch the demand, see if we can continue to stimulate that to a point here. We'll have to watch naturally the crop report coming up, and as I said earlier, I look for quite a wide range probably in guesses that'll start coming out next week in both corn and bean yields. It's one of these that we could probably see guesses from something sub 160 to something above maybe 166. Some of that just depends on what person is looking at what area at that time. So we've seemed to, like say, kind of calm things down here somewhat for right now, but it'd be quite interesting as we see the crop scouts go out and we start putting these numbers together, for that particular report that comes up on August 12th. So with that, we'll kind of wrap this thing up on a Thursday afternoon. We've got one day of trading here left. And tomorrow it'll be interesting to see how these managed funds want to end the month up. We did see the recovery here somewhat today. Market has slowed as far as the contracts being traded. So we'll see how they want to handle these things going into the final trading session of the month. So with that, hey, enjoy the weather. Enjoy some vacation time here yet. We got school starting probably in another 3 weeks in some of these places. So enjoy what we have here right now, and we'll see what August brings for us.